I wasn't going to talk about this because I know that it's wading into a minefield, the likes of which I may not be able to stumble out of, but it's got to be discussed at this point. And I'm talking about rapper and hip hop artist Kanye West's recent comments about slavery and Donald Trump. I've never liked Kanye West. I've never liked his music. I've always found him to be repulsive as a person, which is why it might surprise some people that I'm actually not ready today to go on the attack per se against Kanye West, because I think there's a really good chance he's genuinely suffering from psychological illness and that it's really sad, or that he's joking around. And I don't really think the things he's been saying sound like jokes to me, but they're not the things somebody would say seriously if they are of sound mind. And I know some will say, David, don't excuse stupidity by blaming it on mental illness. That's not what I'm doing. I genuinely think there's a good chance this is not a well person. And this all started last week when Kanye West tweeted a picture of himself wearing a bright red Make America Great Again hat, which made people question, what is it about Donald Trump that Kanye West likes? It led to Kanye ending up at gossip show TMZ's newsroom, where he said that he believes 400 years of enslaved black people was a choice, at least to some degree. And he appeared on the show with this truly depraved favorite, by the way, of the so-called internet free speech warrior enclave named Candace Owens. Let's listen to it. It's a couple minutes long. It's worth it. We're playing only video because I think TMZ is aggressive with copyright claims. Let's take a listen to what was said.
I don't think people necessarily understand what happened last week with the Make America Great Again hat. What are you trying to do with the message you're sending?
Well, it was really just my subconscious. It was a feeling I had, you know, like people were taught how to think, we're taught how to feel. We don't know how to think for ourselves. We don't know how to feel for ourselves. People say feel free, but they don't really want us to feel free. And I felt a freedom in, first of all, just doing something that everybody tells you not to do. I just love Trump. That's my boy. Like, you know, it's like so many rappers. You'll look at a video of Snoop Dogg loving Trump, but then he get in the office and now they don't love him. Like, Trump is one of rap's favorite people, right?
But we talk about this, that before he was elected president, people in hip hop, it was an in thing to put Donald Trump in your rhyme somewhere.
And by the way, I am in hip hop, but I'm not just in hip hop. I'm a black person in the black community, but I'm not just that. I feel like one thing is people try to minimize me to artists, hip hop, black community. Yeah, I'm always gonna represent that, but I also represent the world. When you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice. Like, you was there for 400 years and it's all of y'all? You know, like, it's like we're mentally in prison.
All right, so this went on longer, and later on, Kanye took to Twitter to try to clarify or explain, and he said something like, once again, I'm being attacked for presenting new ideas. The reason I brought up 400 years was because we can't be mentally imprisoned for another 400, and apparently that clarification didn't go over too well because he then deleted it from Twitter. So it's really important, number one, to understand this for what is said, and number two, not to analyze it for something that it isn't or more deeply than it needs to be analyzed. So the idea here is, wow, famous black guy and entertainment guy, two communities that are statistically not big supporters of Republicans in the Republican Party, saying he loves Trump, slavery was a choice. Sounds like the alt-right. There are people online saying the reason Kanye is getting attacked for what he said is because he's not playing the role that he's expected to play as a black entertainer, and that he just has different ideas and you're just not allowed to do that because Hollywood and the liberal elite don't allow for dissension in the ranks or whatever. Kanye's getting slammed because he said dumb things that have no evidence behind them whatsoever, period. Whether it's a black guy or not, or someone on my YouTube comment thread or a political commentator, comments like black people chose to be or to remain slaves for 400 years, what is the sort of intellectual value of that? I would argue effectively nothing. And in the end, this may be nothing more than an attempt to promote Kanye West's upcoming albums. What's clear is that sometimes in order to really understand something, you need to look at multiple layers and do a super deep analysis and understand the various ways in which good points might be made. Not here, right? This is just someone who's saying nothing remotely deep or interesting. It's being used by some horrible elements of the American right to their advantage. And there are three options here, and it's the Trump playbook, right? There were always three options when it came to Trump and his supporters. outrageous, incompetent, or mentally ill. And I don't say any of these three in joking, right? Kanye West maybe is being salacious and incendiary merely for self-promotion, which is horrible. Maybe he's saying uninformed things which he doesn't really know anything about. Or he actually might be mentally ill. And that wouldn't be something to make fun of. As I've said before, it would just be sad, because when I listen to that video, it doesn't sound like a well person to me. But in any case, number one, the comments shouldn't be celebrated. And number two, we shouldn't pay them more attention beyond ensuring that the comments don't end up doing damage to communities that we care about. And when the alt-right starts saying, wow, guy's making a lot of sense, that's when it actually does start to do damage to those communities that we do care about. Send me your thoughts. I know there will be people who disagree with me. I'm on Twitter at @dpakman, and the show is on Twitter at David Pakman Show. Support for today's show comes from EverQuote, America's largest online marketplace for auto insurance. Only 5% of drivers pay under $50 a month for auto insurance nationally, but EverQuote is helping to change that with a proprietary matching algorithm that helps you find the right coverage at the right price. And in fact, data shows that users who find their auto insurance through EverQuote save an average of $536 per year. No wonder over 300,000 shoppers use EverQuote's insurance matching services every day. Take advantage of EverQuote's cutting-edge data and analytics and go to everquote.com/Pakman to compare coverage options today.